Having the Michigan pulled off against you is pretty much equivalent to getting dunked on, and that's kind of how it felt watching the Boston Bruins lose 4-1 to the Carolina Hurricanes, a very good team that very well could come out of the Eastern Conference. Let's talk about it on a brand new episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins? Welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoke to Be. Today is Wednesday, April 10th, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your daily routine, free and available on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Apologies for getting the podcast out a bit later than usual today. Had some errands to run, appointments. Life sometimes gets in the way, but we are here every day to talk about our Boston Bruins. You can find the podcast on social media at Locked NHL Bruins, and you can find me, my dad jokes, hockey thoughts at Ian C. McLaren. Last night, the Carolina Hurricanes ended Boston's 4-game winning streak in style as Andrei Svechnikov, for the third time in his career, pulled off the lacrosse-style Michigan goal. He's now tied with Trevor Zegras of the Anaheim Ducks for most of those in the NHL. It was a bit of a weird play because play did continue for a few seconds after the puck quickly bounced out from the back of the net, but Svech knew that he had it. He said he's always going to try the move. He wished he could have celebrated it a little more in a fun way with the delayed good goal call, but he was happy to score that third one. Again, it's somewhat embarrassing, but I mean, it's a legit hockey play. If you can put the puck in the back of the net, no matter how creative you have to be in order to do so. I don't get the outrage or saying it's not real hockey or it's a slap in the face to the opposition. For me, it's a skilled play that's pretty impressive to watch, and respect to Svech for being able to pull it off. Jeremy Swayman, who was beat by that goal, gave credit to the Hurricanes, saying they're a well-coached team. They have great players. The Bruins just have to accept that. It's not something that you want to see happen in your own barn, but it's a good for the Bruins moving forward, understanding that no team is going to be soft on them just because it's later in the season or, just coasting into the playoffs. It's the Bruins' job, he said, to get back up when you get punched in the face. Charlie McAvoy did cut the lead to 2-1 later in the game with his career high, ever-growing 12th goal of the season. He admitted the Bruins are not a volume shot team to begin with, and that's very true. They're regularly outshot, out-attempted, but they did have some decent looks, some good rush opportunities. Peter Kochetkov was very good in the Carolina net. It wasn't a completely off night offensively, or a lull night, he called it, but to only get one on some good looks, some odd man rushes, disappointing that they could not get the puck in the back of the net. Jake Guentzel, Seth Jarvis both scored. Guentzel now has a 6-game point streak, 22 points in 15 games since being acquired from the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Penguins could really use him as they're making their own push. The Hurricanes, though, are a very, very good team. And again, I really think they have a strong chance of coming out of the Eastern Conference as Stanley Cup finalists. It was pretty even shots last night, all things considered. 29-28 for the Hurricanes. They did go 1 for 3 on the power play, while the Bruins went 0 for 4. They dominated in the faceoff circle, a very strong faceoff team, 60.8% success rate. And the Hurricanes take the season series from the Boston Bruins in this one. Now, I'm looking at that was last week's game, the stats that I was looking at. Again, shots were 26-23. Both teams went over on the power play, and the faceoffs were 50-50. So disregard everything I said over the past minute. That's the kind of day it's been. The Bruins keeping it pretty close, but the Hurricanes were able to finish off their chances, and Jeremy Swayman, not the most solid night in net. Kochetkov, 22 saves on 23 shots for 957 save percentage. Swayman, 22 saves on 26 shots for an 846 mark. And the Hurricanes take the season series here, winning 2 of the 3 games between these two teams here in 2023-24. It was a very tight playoff style game last night, and it'd be a fun series to watch come late May, probably early June. But alas, it was the Hurricanes who got the better of the Bruins, and for good reason. They have, as I mentioned yesterday, league leading stats 5-on-5 in terms of shot attempts, shot attempt differential, shot differential, scoring chances. They're number 1. This is all at 5-on-5. High danger chances. They're number 2. They are a very, very good team, and again, could very well. They're even on, when you look at PDO, they're only at 994. If they could get a bit higher shooting percentage at 5-on-5, especially considering they have a top power play, top penalty kill, it's a very, very dangerous team. And to lose to the Hurricanes, or to split the 2 appearances over the past week with a game against Florida in between there, not bad for the Bruins, who remain 3 points back of the New York Rangers for top spot. Carolina's up there as well at 107. Each of those 3 teams have 4 games left. The Bruins are 3 points up on the Panthers with 3 games remaining for each of those 2 teams as well. So the Bruins could finish as high as first in the Atlantic, first in the East, or they could drop down to second in the Atlantic, maybe even third, as the Leafs are 6 games back with 4 games remaining. So if the Bruins lose all 3 games, Leafs win, Boston could even drop back to third, although that is quite unlikely. The Bruins looking either like they'll be playing Tampa Bay or Toronto in round 1, but we will keep you posted on all that as the standings become clear. The Bruins handed out a few awards prior to last night's game. We'll discuss that, as well as the results of the latest NHLPA Player Poll here as the podcast continues. When you're drafting your fantasy team, do you ever wish you could just handpick the best possible stars for your business team as well? If you're building your talent roster, you need Indeed. It's the hiring platform where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. You don't have to spend hours on multiple job sites looking for candidates with the right skills. You can do it all with Indeed. Find top talent fast with Indeed's suite of powerful hiring tools like matching, assessments, and virtual interviews. And if you hate waiting, their data shows that 80% of Indeed employers find quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match their job description the moment they sponsor a job. All you have to do is visit Indeed.com/lockedon to start hiring now. With Indeed, you only pay for quality applications that match your must-have job requirements. Indeed.com/lockedon to get the best quality candidates. You can make every dollar count. Terms and conditions do apply, and the cost per application pricing is not available for everyone. But if you need to hire, then you need Indeed. Thank you so much once again for making Locked On Bruins part of your daily routine, free and available on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, be sure to check out Locked On Sports Today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel with the can't miss news, opinions, and analysis that you can only find on the Locked On Podcast Network. Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. Now, prior to last night's game against the Hurricanes, the Bruins announced the recipients of some season awards. Now, the NESN 7th player usually handed out during before the final game of the regular season, home game. That will be the season finale next week against the Ottawa Senators. But they took the opportunity to hand out some awards, and they were as follows. Charlie Coyle was named the recipient of the Eddie Shore Award, which is given to the player who shows exceptional hustle and determination, and that is chosen by legacy season ticket holders. Next, David Pastrnak was chosen as the winner of the Elizabeth Dufresne Trophy, awarded to the player exemplifying outstanding performance on home ice, as determined by the Boston chapter of the Professional Hockey Writers Association. Linus Ullmark was selected for the Johnny Busick Award, which is for exceptional off-ice charitable contributions, and that's chosen by the chief himself, Johnny Busick. And finally, David Pastrnak, first star, Jeremy Swayman, second star, and Brad Marchand, third star, were named the 3 stars as selected by 98.5, the Sports Hub, for being top performers at home games over the course of the season. Now, Coyle winning the Eddie Shore Award, again, that's for exceptional hustle and determination. He has appeared in all 78 games for the Bruins this season, 25 goals, 33 assists for 58 points, and it's the second consecutive season that he has received the Eddie Shore Award, which is very well deserved. Now, I was trying to track down some information on Elizabeth Dufresne, which is presented to the player who has outstanding performance on home ice. Again, that was given to David Pastrnak, 39 games at TD Garden this season. He's got 28 goals and 31 assists for 59 points, which is unbelievable. He leads the Bruins in goals, assists, points, even strength goals, even strength points, power play goals, and power play assists on home ice this season. And it's the third season that he has won the Elizabeth Dufresne Trophy. From what I can gather, and people can correct me if this is incorrect, but Miss Dufresne was once one of the Bruins' most loyal and knowledgeable fans, and she attended every Bruins game and knew all the players personally. After she became ill and was no longer to attend games, one of her friends donated the trophy to the team, which has been awarded every season since 1935-36. It is, pretty cool little trophy with a bear on it, and it's got the kind of like a ashtray kind of look to it. It's pretty cool. Anyways, that's the best I could do in terms of finding out information on that award. Now, the Johnny Busick Award, again, given to Linus Ullmark for his contributions in the Boston community this season. He's taken part in several community events, including the annual holiday toy shopping, hospital visits, meet and greets, and following his Halloween visit, he brought pediatric patients to TD Garden to experience a Bruins home game and hosted a meet and greet, which is very cool. And then, of course, through social media, he connected with Swayman, a Special Olympics goalie from Sweden, and he sent him a signed jersey, Bruins merch, a personalized video, and then we all saw Simon's reaction via social media, and we're choked up by that, of course. He's also helped create and raffle off custom goalie masks, raised over $35,000 for charity, and that is why he was named the winner of this award, chosen by Johnny Busick, who's in his 67th season with the organization. And then, of course, first, second, 3 stars, self-explanatory. David Pastrnak, Jeremy Swayman, 13-7-1 home record, .916 save percentage. Marchand with 14 goals, 24 assists for 38 points in 39 home games for the Boston Bruins this season. And next week, we will, of course, break down the NESN 7th Player Award. I've already endorsed Danton Heinen for that. Coming up after the break, we'll talk about the NHL Player Poll and where Bruins ranked on that. Game Time is where you want to be to get tickets to your next event. I used Game Time just yesterday to grab tickets to a New York Yankees, Toronto Blue Jays game on Monday, Jackie Robinson Day, hoping to get there in time to grab a hat that they're giving out. Game Time is an authorized ticket marketplace for Major League Baseball, and they make getting tickets fast and easy. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. They have killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from receipt, a lowest price guarantee. Game Time takes all the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets. Trust me, I just did it yesterday. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, but again, just create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Game Time, last-minute tickets at the lowest price, guaranteed. The annual NHLPA Player Poll has been revealed, and a few Boston Bruins have made appearances there. Let's start with one of the obvious ones, and that is the category of which player do you least enjoy playing against but would like to have on your team. The runaway winner is Brad Marchand at 29.19%, ahead of Connor McDavid at around 17.5%, Matthew Tkachuk 7.57%, Tom Wilson, Nathan McKinnon coming in. He's the one everybody hates, or they also love to hate. For the third straight season, and in his first as Bruins captain, Marchand took the category with 162 votes as players tip their hat to a worthy opponent they would rather have on their side. I've said that for years. NHL fans hate Brad Marchand, but if he had been drafted, developed, and grown as he has with their organization, no question, he would be a fan favorite. So Brad Marchand, hopefully that comes in handy during the playoffs as well, as he is a guy that just gets under everybody's skin, but is also super productive. Now, another Bruin won their category, which is the player with the best style. This was a more narrow vote. Pastrnak with 15% of the vote compared to William Nylander at 12.17 and Austin Matthews at 10.46. The NHLPA wrote, "Look good, feel good, play good." Sums up David Pastrnak as he takes the best personal style category with 79 votes, leading a group of more than 140 players who received a vote. William Nylander, Austin Matthews, a pair of teammates who are both known for their flair on the ice, along with their fashion sense, round out the top three. Very cool to see Pasta get some love there. Always enjoy seeing his looks as he arrives, and he is always looking good and ready to cook. Now, some other interesting results from this poll. Connor McDavid is the one forward that if you need to win a game, he's the guy that you want in your team. Sidney Crosby coming in very distant second. McDavid at 48% and McDavid at 11.5%. If you need to win one game, who's the defenseman you want on your team? Victor Hedman at 10%. Coming in well behind Cale Makar at 56.38. Quinn Hughes at 4.04. He's a guy that you might want on there, as he probably will win the Norris this year. When it comes to having the best stick handler, it's McDavid. Most complete player, but Patrice Bergeron, of course, was in the running for this. many years in a row. He's gone. So Sidney Crosby takes it. And the best playmaker, McDavid losing out in that category to Nikita Kucherov. The most difficult player to face in their own end. You had Victor Hedman ahead of McDavid there. And some really interesting things to be said. The toughest arena to play in as a visiting team, Las Vegas, T-Mobile Arena at 31.36. PNC Arena at 16.31. And then TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts, 15.5% of the vote. So Boston getting in on the action there with respect to the toughest arena to play in, which is pretty cool. All right, friends, that is a quick and dirty episode today. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Thank you for subscribing. If you have not already, please do so on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'll be back with an episode tomorrow to bring you all the latest on the black and gold. Get you ready for Saturday's game, as I'll be off Friday for a funeral. I appreciate you all. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Talk to you again soon here on Locked On Boston Bruins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day.